These are the 2016 NTSU Exec elections.
So you're VP Services currently, and you're going for the role of President.
Yes.
Unopposed, apart from Ron.
Yes.
Reopened nominations. So in a way, it's kind of more important that you win, because there's nothing more embarrassing than losing to someone else than there is losing to one. So what makes you stand out as a strong candidate for this role?
Being the only candidate doesn't mean you're the best candidate. And my point is to try and prove to people that just because I'm the only candidate also means I am the best candidate for the role. Within my role this year, I've made a lot of changes. I've done a lot. The team, we've all done a lot of things. And I've grown as a person, as a leader. I've had opportunities to lead a wide variety of teams since Freshers Week. I've led an NTREP team, I've led hall reps, and I've worked very closely with my team to achieve results. So I think demonstrating those leadership strengths kind of showed my colleagues, showed everyone that I was ready to take the next step. And I think that's probably why within the organization, people kind of trusted me to go for the role. And now it's up to me to prove they were right and to ensure the students actually trust me as well to go for the role.
And as President, you'll have to be in charge of all the other VPs of, VP Education, VP Services, etc., etc. And sometimes you'll have to make some uncomfortable decisions, things that you're not totally happy with. How are you going to deal with those? Have you had to deal with difficult decisions in the past, and has that prepared you?
Yes, definitely. Running a team of 500 plus volunteers in Freshers Week is not by any means easy. I barely slept in 2 weeks because it's a week for most people. Actually, it's more like 4 months for the VP Services, because you have an entire summer to do a lot of the planning. Post Freshers Week, do the review, and you encounter issues all through the week. You have a bunch of people working together, never met or never worked together before, and you have to ensure when they have conflict, you're there to resolve it and make sure they're still working for the benefit of the freshers and the students. So I've had a lot of experiences dealing with conflict resolution, and I think from the current president, I've seen how he's dealt with situations in office with us, and I've taken on board those learning experiences, and I'm going to take that forward into the role next year.
And another thing that you've mentioned as well is about integrating more cultural events into the SU, because you don't think we do enough. So how exactly is this going to benefit the students at Trent? Overseas students don't exactly make up a majority here, so surely it would be better to spend the SU funds elsewhere.
It will benefit the students at Trent a lot, actually, because international students actually make up a larger percentage than people realize, and they make a lot of money for the university, more than people realize. And for them to come here, we need to gain something from them, and they need to gain something from us. So here we have the culture we have in the UK, and they want to get integrated into that culture. But at the same time, when you think of the future, you never know where you're going to end up. You could end up working in France and China. You never know what countries you want to get mobile, you want to move into, because we live in an increasingly mobile world. So having people from different cultures and learning from their cultures, and learning how they do business in their culture, because you never know what you want to do in there, how their culture is, and what you can learn from them, and then take that forward, because it's another form of education essentially without being in school. It's life education. So making sure we can integrate those cultures, celebrate those cultures, and then when you move on out of this environment in life, you have a wide network available to you of students, and you actually have more comfort and more confidence in yourself when it comes to interacting with people from different cultures.
And you just said about how there were people that turned up to this talent show that you'd never really seen around the building before. Let's move on to sort of the exec positions. Now, if I went outside with a sheet of photos of all the different exec and said, what does Lizzie Kelly do? What does Matt Nicholson do, etc., etc., chances are they probably wouldn't be able to identify them. So how are you going to make sure that people now know who they need to, they're having a problem with their society, go and speak to Lizzie. They want to bring a new sport in, speak to Matt. How are you going to make sure that they can identify them?
Well, great question. Like I said before, more visibility around campus, speaking to students, but I'm going to come back to something I've done this year. So halfway through the year, around January time, I've been pushing the idea for a long time before when I came to the role. If you go on the uni website now, you can probably see it. So if you go on the officers, previously we just had the titles and the names of the officers. Now you have a profile page of what you do. what you plan, what you say you're going to do before you got elected, how far you coming with that, and you're going to have like a little paragraph of what you've done to achieve those points, and or any other added points you pick up during the year. But in that in that little section, you have the role description of each officer, and people are going to know what they do, and they can actually go on there and find that out. And another point I want to make is something that the VP Sports currently has done very well. He's been more visible on social media, so he's constantly posting updates, and people respond to that because they're used to it. But it's something myself I've not done great at, but I recognize how important that has been for him this year in engaging students, and I think it's something that I would like to implement next year. I think it's definitely been helpful to see how visible he is on social media, and students have responded to that. So I would like to do that more for the entire team next year.
These are the 2016 NTSU Exec elections.